everyone, I'm Tanya Ross and I'm going to take you through a low-level band workout today. We're aiming for between 10 to 15 repetitions, and the intensity that you place the bands at, it's up to you in terms of how the movement feels. Feel free to adjust on the way through if it feels like it's too strong or if it feels like it's not enough. We're only going to run through one set of all the movements, but you feel free to go on repeat and do it maybe another 2 or 3 times. So we're going to start first of all just shaping the back, which I want you to maintain on the way through. So we're going to be setting up into neutral spine. So take it into a little bit of a squat with your weight back onto your heels so your knees aren't shooting over. And as you take your weight back, it's like you're hinging at your hips, but I want you to go through a few pelvic tilts. So you're curling the tailbone under and then you're lifting the tail to arch the back. So as you go through those movements, it's like a warm up for the pelvis, warm up for the lower back, but it also should feel like your core muscles are pulling in when you go to a round back, and then they lengthen and release as they go to an arch. So we're trying to find somewhere that's halfway in between so that you feel those muscles working, but there's lengthen through your back. When you drive your heels into the floor and you open up the hips, again, you're trying to maintain that neutral position throughout all of the exercises. So we're going to bring you in that neutral position into standing with the feet around about hip distance apart. And we're just going to take just a few side bends first of all. Again, just warming up some movements in the spine. So just sliding the hand down by your side and imagine that the other side of the ribs are lifting and lengthening. So again, slowly coming up and slowly sliding down. So with each movement, get a sense of how tight that they feel. Maybe one side feels tighter than the other. And it's not that it's necessarily that important, but it might give you some information that after the workout that you might need to stretch those areas a little bit more. So just taking it through another one on each side, and then find your way into a mid position so that you feel even and long through both sides of the waist. So we're going to use the band first of all then for the shoulders to warm them up a little bit more. So I don't want a lot of tension on it. I'm using the green band, which is about mid tension, okay? I also have a black band there, which can be used and that would be a stronger resistance. But it depends on where you're at, what level that you're at, and maybe you want to use a lesser or a greater band. So with the hands just placed by your sides, and your posture's nice and tall, again remembering to keep in neutral, but soften through your knees, and then just slowly rolling the shoulders. So you're going to know when you're doing this if it feels like you're getting any resistance from the band, but it's just the warm up, so again just a few movements. And as you take it through, you're trying to go as big a range as you can, but I want the emphasis to be on the squeeze back and the squeeze down. So we'll take just another 5. Okay, so hopefully you've just felt something starting to work in and around the shoulders and something in and around the back as well. So we're going to take it next into dumb waiter. Now for this, I'm going to get you to wrap it around your waist. And again, you can choose what resistance. And we're going to go with palms up so that the upper arms are in external rotation a little bit. And that sense of being long and low with the elbows and narrow. So from there, knees still soft, neutral spine in the back, so the core is active. And then you're pressing open. So you might find that as you're pressing open, if the resistance feels too much, you might not be able to get your full range of movement. And your aim is that you want full range of movement. And as you're going through, again, you're feeling that squeeze. This should feel like it's at the back of the shoulders, almost at that area, sort of between the armpit and the shoulder blades. So we're going to do another 5. So again, aiming for somewhere between 10 to 15. Still keeping that sense of being soft at the knees, tall with the rest of your posture. Okay, so then from there we're going to take it into a bent over row. So for this, pop the band underneath your feet. And once it's underneath there, you could cross the band if that feels a little bit more stable for you in terms of trying to keep the arms a little bit more narrow. So that same squat position that we set up at the start, weight back onto the heels, find your neutral spine if you need to go between the positions, and choose the resistance that you're working with. You want to feel a little bit of resistance on the band just as the arms are there. Knowing that you're not rounding through the back, but the shoulder blades are getting that connection like they did on the dumb waiter movement to start with. So from there, you're pulling back, and the elbows are trying to still stay if you like, long and low, but they're reaching behind you. So we're keeping the elbows by your sides, and as you lift up, you're keeping the neck nice and long as well. You should feel that as you pull back, there's a tightening in through the core. The more work you do, the more that the core has to work. And as you, maybe if you know me, you know that I don't count very well. So we're aiming for somewhere between 10 to 15. Now once we've done those 10 to 15, it's a short break before moving into the second set. And the second set is going to be moving the elbows out to about 45 degrees. So you can decide again whether that resistance feels okay, but also if you don't like the crossover on the band, if that feels like it's a little bit more work or a little bit awkward, then you can always just go to same side. So this time as we're going back, we're going to be pulling the elbows out to the sides. So again, it's that aim that we're going about 45 degrees. So as we come into that end position, we're moving a little bit further, elbows away from the body, about 45 degrees. But in essence, you're still trying to keep the elbows reaching as far behind you as you can, and that you don't roll forwards in the shoulders. In terms of thinking of a thumb position that might help, the thumbs are always up. And the core is still active to keep that long spine. Still keeping that connection at the back of the shoulders. Okay. And drive through the heels to come up. So the last set that we're going to do is going to be taking the arms out that little bit wider. So we're going to have the thumb turned in on this one, so that as we go out, we're taking it out. So if you imagine that you're going elbows wide out to the sides, not too high or it pulls your shoulders up. So there's a little bit of almost like a press back through the arms. So again, you might find it crossing over, it just feels a little bit more awkward. And again, then it's taking out. So almost making a right angle at the elbows. So that as you go back, you're still trying to think about keeping that little squeeze at the back of the shoulder blades. And that you're still pressing the elbows almost as if they're reaching back, but you're not actually changing the alignment. You're still going to short of 90 degrees. And all the way through, core's in, because it always wins. And again, that long spine. Shoulders wide, almost tractioning out of the sockets. And again, we're somewhere between 10 to 15. Press through the heels and drive it up. The next one then is the chest press. And we're going to come in with, again, that wrap around. And sometimes it feels a little bit nicer to have it around the front and then crossing over because the resistance is pulling forward. So again, you set up the band whatever way feels comfortable to you. And again, then in terms of it, you can have a crossover or you can have it same side. So I'm going to work with the thumbs up. Elbows are narrow by my sides again. Soft at the knees, posture is tall and lengthened. So we're pressing forwards. And as we press forward, thumbs are up. But as we come back again, those elbows are trying to be long and low, so I'm not rounding at the shoulders. As I reach forward, the hands are coming up to about shoulder level. Again, aiming to keep everything stable. The band pulling forward might cause you to pull into an arch, so your core is pulling in to almost resist that. And again, somewhere between 10 to 15. Okay, so we're then going to take it into the next set, which again is following the same pattern as the row, so we're matching the positions and equal from both sides of the body, front to back. So we're going to take the elbows out to about 45 degrees. So again, as we push into this, it's going to be taking it forwards on that diagonal, but still having that sense that the elbows are long and low on the way back, and you're not rounding through the back. You're keeping the shoulders connected. So it's almost like as the arms go forward, you still have to pull your shoulder blades back to connect. And it's not a fast release, it's a controlled release on the way back. So you're still working with the resistance of the band. Knees are still soft. Okay, so our last set that we're going to take it into then is working with the elbows around about that sort of 80 degrees, just slightly below horizontal. And again from here, the idea that you're kind of long and low and then traction them out wide. So we're just going slightly below so the shoulders don't lift, press them down, soft knees, and then take it forward. So it's wide, almost like you're in an armchair as you go back, really wide. So that again, we have that same sensation at the back of the shoulders trying to hold. The core still having to draw in to resist. And again, posture's tall, you're connecting your feet into the floor, still reaching in and around chest level as the hands draw in. Okay, so the next one we're going to take it into is tricep kickback. So we've done the chest and the front of the shoulders, and we've done the back of the body. So this time, in terms of the kickbacks, you're going to stand on the band, and we're going to use that squat position again. So keeping the band separate this time. You can cross it, but depending on how much resistance you have on the band, it might just get in the way a little. So set up your squat position again, the hips are back and your weight's on your heels, neutral spine in place and shoulders are connected and the neck is nice and long. Elbows are going to stay lifted and then you're pressing back. So keep the elbows, if you can, level with the shoulders, but without the shoulders collapsing. They're still squeezing long and low down your back. And as we press back, thumbs pointing down, little finger pointing to the ceiling, and the wrists are long. You don't want to feel like you're kind of twisting or creating awkward angles at the wrists, but feeling that little squeeze. Okay, and then from there we're going to take it into bicep curls. And we're just going to do a basic curl with the palms facing forwards. And in that position, elbows are narrow, a little bit of external rotation on the shoulders and the upper arms. So the knees are soft. Then from there, you're coming up and you're controlling it back down again. So it doesn't just snap release. Still keeping that connection of the shoulder blades pulling down your back. Thumbs are almost just turned out most of the way through. And again, as we're coming up, we're trying to keep that position fixed again. Keeping the knees soft so you feel that connection through the floor and to your core. So then from there, we're going to take it into long arm circles. So with this, the challenge is on trying to keep your shoulders pretty stable. So again, that means that opening and that downward connection, feeling them a little bit more connected across the back of the shoulders. So with these circles, we're going to start low first of all. So maybe just a few degrees in front of the body. Again, shoulders connected, knees soft, core drawn in. And you're going to draw 10 circles as we go out to the sides. We finish level with the side seam on the body. That should feel a wee bit more in the shoulders. And then reverse the direction of your circles as you're coming forwards. So by the end of 10, you're going to finish again with the arms in front. So that's one, and then we're going to take it up a little bit higher. We're going to go to about 45 degrees. So in terms of that alignment, making sure you don't lean back, knees are soft again, core is drawn in, neutral spine, thumbs are up, shoulders are pulling back and connected down. And again, about 10 circles to take you all the way out, knowing that the shoulders are staying pulling down your back. The further out you go to the side seams of the body, the more you're going to feel it at those areas at the back of the shoulder, a bit like dumb waiter, that area. And then circle forwards, so that again as you circle forwards, you're going to finish hands in front of the shoulders. Okay, so hopefully you were feeling that in certain areas on the way through. We may have varied between 10 to 15, maybe a few more. But I want you to repeat that again if you feel that you want to get a little bit more of a workout with it. Certainly you could go 2 to 3 sets, but even one is enough that it's going to get those muscles working. And it could be used for an upper body warm-up if you're not putting too much intensity onto the band, not stretching it too much to start with. So hopefully this has given you a little bit of a workout, a few ideas, and we'll follow that up with the next level coming soon, so you can check out that video as well. Otherwise, hopefully you can leave some feedback, let me know how you got on with it. If you have any other ideas, yeah, get in touch and we'll see what we can do. Thanks for watching.